you another episode from Times Square, New York, New York. Enjoy the show. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Classic Plastik. Today we'll be shooting this episode in retro style, so you'll have my point of view, and that way you get the best look at the games that I got. Most of these games came from GameStop. They have this awesome sale. It's buy two, get two free, and there's no reason why any PSP enthusiast is not taking advantage of this. So let's jump right in and let's see what kind of damage I did with that deal. Starting off, I have Super Agent Clank. And most of these games are disc only, but it's nice that they bring cases because I've been to GameStops that don't even carry those. The next one is Capcom Puzzle World. And then the free games were Lemmings and Bust-A-Move Deluxe. And then I got a couple more games, and I got Blockus Portable Steambot Champs, Deadhead Fred, one of the only ones with its case and insert, Gunpei, and a movie, Assault on Precinct 13. Now the reason I got the movie was because there were slim pickings. I really couldn't find a game that I wanted to add to my collection, so I just said, you know what, why not? Let's just get a movie. And it's not a half bad movie, so I can't really complain about it. Moving along, I took a trip. I just dropped the game, but I took a trip out to New York. And I stopped by a couple of GameStops, and I picked up some interesting titles. So these I'm actually super proud of, just because most of them are rare titles, and they're premium titles at that. So if you're looking to buy these online, prepare to pay premium for it. They're hovering about $20 to $30. The first game is Phantasy Star Portable. And for you Phantasy Star fans, this is an awesome rendition of the classic game. Next up, we have Gungnir, or Gungnir. I said it the same, but I honestly don't know how to pronounce that title. This is also a premium title. Phantasy Star is probably the cheaper ones of these titles. These next two are going for quite a bit of money, in the $30 range. And they are Metal Slug Anthology, unfortunately, disc only. And then the other one is SNK Arcade Classics. Now, on this sale, I paid for Metal Slug and I paid for SNK. I was having an extremely hard time, justifying the $11 price tag for Metal Slug. But then, after doing a little bit of research, I was getting it for a third of what it's going for online. And then I got these two titles for free, which are also premium titles. So, right off the bat, we have 12 titles, and I've paid for 6 of them. So we're on a roll. Now this is the last stack of games. These are, for the most part, actually 2 movies and 2 games. We'll start with the movies, and that is Kill Bill Volume 1 on UMD. And for you guys that have seen it, you guys know it's an awesome movie. And then Dave Chappelle's For What It's Worth. That is some stand-up. Very funny stand-up, I might add. Then we have Popo LaCroix, I believe it's pronounced. And it looks pretty cool. So that was an awesome title. I don't normally see, I haven't seen this title in quite a bit. So I was glad I was able to pick it up. And then lastly, I got Pursuit Force. Now, if you guys have tuned in to other episodes, you guys know that I have a complete in box, actually a sealed Pursuit Force, and a ton of you guys were saying that the games are really good, Pursuit Force and Pursuit Force 2. So I was really looking for a copy that I could play. So there you have it. We have multiple titles. If you're wondering what the missing game here was, it is Joan of Arc, or Joan Dark, and that's my second copy of the game, and I'm really happy to have that. The next title I actually got from a Just Press Play when I went out to Pennsylvania on a little trip, and that is Patapon 2. Now, for you Patapon fans, you know that the second title in the series and also the third one are the most rare, and this came complete in box, and I'm really happy. Now, I did a little bit of research, and it seems like Patapon 2 is going for a little more than Patapon 3. I'm not sure why that is, but nonetheless, I'm happy to have the trilogy. From that store, I also picked up a Dreamcast extension cord. For you Dreamcast players, you know that cord sucks. It's very short, and on top of that, it comes out the bottom instead of coming out of the top of the control, which makes it a nightmare. You lose a good 2 inches off that cord, which sucks. So I paid $3 for this, and I got that. For Patapon, I paid $2, and then this title I was absolutely drooling for when I saw it, and that is Alien Crush for the TurboGrafx 16. In between all these PSP games, it's kind of a random title to just drop in, but they had it for $20, which is what it's going for online for the most part. You might find a cheaper one or a more expensive one, but the cool thing about this is that they clean them and they guarantee them. Of course, that won't do me any good just because I'm in Maryland, but for Patapon and then this extension cord, which this was $2.99 and Patapon was $1.99, so that's $5 there, and then the $20 here. I told them if they do an even 20, so basically I paid full price for some deserted mall out in New York, upstate New York, that is. Shout out to you New Yorkers. It was a beautiful place, upstate New York, near Watkins Glen. But I stopped by this mall just to see what they had, and I picked up Ni no Kuni, and this is the non-greatest hits version. I'm not sure of you viewers, but out here in Maryland, you don't normally see the non-greatest hits version. You normally see the red one, which sucks because this game is awesome and you just want the first print for it. So I finally got this game after, 2-3 years of it being out. I'm really happy I was able to pick it up. I have the special edition strategy guide, which I drove 2 hours to go get, so I'm looking forward to this. And for you guys that haven't played it, this is an awesome game. It came out in Japan first on the 3DS, and then was ported to the PS3 out here. So it's an awesome title. And the really cool thing about FYE is that they have the disc behind the counter as well as the insert. So that's really cool, just because Normally at GameStop, it's just kind of like they leave the inserts there, and some of the sketchier people normally just take them and, you know, ruin it for everybody. Okay, so moving along to the even better part of this haul, I'll just kind of preface it by saying I paid $30 for all the titles that I am about to present. I'm just extremely happy with it. It kind of just like blew my day because it was like such an awesome deal. I can't believe, you know, the guy was able to work with me at this price. The place is called Swap Shop up in northern New York, near it's a town called Horsehead, a village called Horsehead, and the guy is just tucked back there, has tons of awesome titles, and has them for below retail, way below retail, and on top of that, he's very flexible on the prices. So let's jump right in. The first title I picked up is Shadowgate Classic, and I hadn't seen this game, and it just looked pretty cool, so I said, why not? And purchased it. On this one, he was asking $10, but as I said prior, I paid $30 for the whole haul, so we'll see how I made out. The next game is Day de Lion Opus, and apparently Vic Tokai had a big part in this game because he felt the need to put his name on there. But he was asking $3. This is also another title I took a risk on. I hadn't played it or heard of it, so I thought it looks cool and why not. Moving on to the next title, we have Donkey Kong Land 2, and this is for the original Game Boy. The cool thing is he included the cases. He wanted $10 for this as well, and this cartridge is just in awesome shape for the age it is, and just, you know, this was a very popular title for kids, so 9 out of 10 times kids would beat these up. And I'm just very happy to pick this up. I have the first Donkey Kong Land, and I enjoyed it very much. So looking forward to play this. The next title I picked up is Final Fantasy 1 and 2, Dawn of the Souls. And he was asking $5 for this, and I just love the Final Fantasy franchise, at least the first 8, and I just thought, you know, why not? I have it for the PSP, why not get it for the Game Boy Advanced? Now, these last two titles, more than make up for the $30 price tag. And the reason I say that is because these are two premium titles. The first title is the Final Fantasy Legends card, and this is for the Game Boy. He was asking $8, and you know, I just kind of bundled all these games up, and I made sure that I put more emphasis on like Day de Lion Opus and Shadowgate, just in case if he was one of those sellers where like if you get all excited, he pulls them back and doesn't want to sell them. Well, I kind of did that to make sure I was able to get Final Fantasy Legends. So he wanted $8 for it, and I mean, it was very hard for me not to jump out of my skin. This has been a title I've been looking for quite some time. It's very difficult, but nonetheless, I mean, it's one of the cooler niche Final Fantasies out there. And lastly, this title, I actually have this game already, but my cart isn't as nice as this one, and these carts are going for well over $30 by themselves. And the cart I am speaking of is The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, and this cart also includes Legend of Zelda: Four Swords, which also came out for the GameCube. The cool thing about this is that two versions of these carts came out, and one was the one that includes both titles, which is this one, and one that only included A Link to the Past. So if you do a quick Google search of these carts, they're going for quite some premium now, and especially because Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds came out a bit while ago. People really love that top-down 8-bit era of Zelda, and this is an awesome cart. I couldn't have been happier. I would have been happy paying the $15 price tag he had on there, but just as a hunter, and I picked up this Xbox controller. It's a see-through model, and this is the S model controller, which is the revised later edition of the original Xbox controller. This one is easier to control. It's better fitting to people with smaller hands. I don't consider myself to have small hands, and still find this controller very comfortable. But what really tickled me is that for another $1, I picked up its big brother, the Goliath of a controller. And to the original Xbox community, this controller is referred to as the Duke, and rightfully so. This controller is massive. If you put its smaller brother, the S model, next to it, there is just no comparison. The Duke is way bigger in every size, and the Duke, in my opinion, just screams America. It's big, it's in charge, it's huge, and it just doesn't care. It has a freaking Xbox bezel the size of a $50 sitting right in the middle of the controller. Who does that? They switched it out for the later model, switched out the bezel for this jelly bezel that's maybe the size of a quarter, if that. But this thing is awesome. It's massive, it's in charge, and I mean, this thing is a chore to play. And I don't think I have small hands, and I have to kind of scooch up to hit the white and black button, which then became the bumpers. But even from this, I can't reach that start button. So this controller's awesome. I love it. But this isn't the main attraction. For my viewers, some of you may know that I'm currently going to school to become a game developer in the programming field specifically. So I went to this I answered a Craigslist ad for shelves that they were throwing out. I picked them up, and just in small talk, I told them I was a programmer in the game development community, and they said, "Oh, we are too." And so these guys, Steve Bress is the one I spoke to. They made this awesome game. It's called Lunar Defense. It's an older arcade game that is all motion controlled. So you had racing seats moving while you played this game, and both the designer and programmer signed it. What's even cooler is that these guys got popular and big enough to start publishing or be prospects to publish for the original Xbox. And this was going to be the mascot for their company. And I don't remember the mascot's name, but it was Entropy or something like that. I can't remember. But they got very, very far into production. A company well known picked them up and basically said, you know, you're going to publish for the original Xbox. Get ready for it. You're going to be a releasing title or an early title. So that's why the game, some of the screenshots look a bit primitive on the graphical side, but this is all. These are all screenshots. Basically, this was going to be very similar to like a puzzle game, platforming puzzle game, similar to like Crash Bandicoot or Spyro. And this TV set was going to be the main protagonist. Now, here's the really cool thing. The Xbox hadn't come out yet. It was still in development. And they were able to... This poster went out to Xbox, and Xbox started promoting this game. Unfortunately, it was not made. But check out the Xbox logo. That's what the Xbox was going to look like. The actual Xbox was going to be an actual X. And that's super cool. That's a piece of gaming history right there. And I just thought that was super cool. And just the stories that these guys were telling me, I mean, just amazing guys. Super awesome. And they were nice enough to sign my poster. And this is one signature, and that's the other one. Steve Bress is one of them. And these guys are still making games, making board games, video games, apps, and everything. So I thought this was really cool. It's a small world. You never know who you're going to bump into. So I thought I'd share this with you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, the Duke says, game on.